what she said to me is really alarming, kind of concerning. But
At
she's
jail.
sitting there playing with my knife, so all my property sitting on the table right there. She picks my knife up, and no big deal. I don't care, man. It's no big deal. So like, she's like, oh, you got the same knife as me. She pulled her knife out, and then she pulled mine to open it. She goes, oh wow, yours opens way better, and everything. Like, that's all cool. I'm not worried about that. But the part of them discussing my situation and whatnot, and like him stacking it up, she's like, man, and you should have just ran. I'm like, what? Like, I'm being told by another officer that I should have just ran.
Was it a deputy? Was it a WPD officer? Did you identify him?
It was sheriff. I don't, like I said, I don't know if she was a jailer or what. And like, just because she's cute, I'm not going to let it slide. It's not right. She shouldn't be telling people that. Like, that's crazy. Just because she's cute, she ain't getting away with it.
Well, but I need to be able to identify her. Was she wearing a duty belt? I mean, did she go out to a patrol car in the
Sally Port? She did go out in
Sally
Port, but I'm not sure if she got in the car or anything. And as far as the belt, I was sitting to where she was so short, she was behind the counter, I couldn't really see.
So you wouldn't be able to, because there's a lot of females that work here, whether they, especially at the jail.
Petite, that's for sure. I mean, you don't have a lot of those, so that narrows it down
What's that?
A little bit. Smaller, shorter, and petite, like little short and petite.
Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't narrow it down.
He's
5
like, I
foot,
got bitches all around.
white, black.
White, brownish, mid-long hair, shoulder length. No glasses, nothing like that.
She told me to run, y'all.
Okay, and you just knew she was wearing a deputy's uniform.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Just don't know if it's jail or...
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I mean, they both wore, the jailers wore dark shirts, and so's the patrols.
Yeah, they wear the same uniform.
Okay.
Okay, so the only complaint that I've heard is that the sergeant escalated the situation.
Yeah, and wrongful arrest and unlawful stop.
Well,
It's unlawful stop.
from what you're explaining to me, the unlawful stop, the remedy to that would be for you to be able to go to court. The wrongful arrest is not wrongful arrest if you're
so they
the things
have 5
you're telling.
years to pull this up on me, right?
Yeah, they have 5 years to be able to.
So if I don't have a citation or anything to go against for that, I just have to wait for 5 years until they decide they want to try to pull this up? I'm not no ATM. And that's just kind of how I feel like they're just weighing the charge down of something to try to bring out later for money.
So the traffic and the criminal charges will all be tied together. They will decide whether or not they're going to charge you with the criminal aspect. If they decide to charge you with the criminal aspect of this case, then the traffic charges will be rolled into that. If they decide not to charge the criminal aspect of it, then they will send the citation over to the courts to basically eliminate the criminal aspect and start proceedings on the traffic portion. And at that point, you will be mailed the citation to be aware that you have whatever time frame. Generally, it's 90 days to take care of the citation from that point. But that's up to the DA on whether or not they take the initial criminal charges.
Okay.
But it's not. You're explaining that you told me that you committed crimes that are misdemeanor crimes that occurred in the presence of these deputies. So that there is no.
I didn't say that at all. I didn't commit any misdemeanor crimes. I didn't have any kind of involvement of them. They should have never.
Well, at the very least, failure to provide a driver's license to a deputy upon a traffic stop is a misdemeanor crime.
Well, if a deputy can make a simple mistake of a blinker, then how many other mistakes is he making? My concern.
So that's like I said, that's a separate issue to take to court and be able to take all the evidence that you have to prove that you did not commit those infractions. That's why court is there. But by refusing and doing the other things, you committed an additional crime that was a misdemeanor crime that was arrestable at that time. And then everything else stemmed from that. It appears the marijuana, the location. I mean, you would have got picked up on your warrants anyway, you had warrants already anyway. And then when they ran your driver's license and found that you were suspended, then that would have been could have been arrestable. It could have been a citation. It's up to the.
Yeah,
that's up to the.
They're arresting me on the warrants from suspended license. I don't have a suspended anymore. But
did you have it at the time of the traffic stop?
No.
Oh, your driver's license was not suspended at the time of the. Okay. Okay, so the warrants themselves, you would have been arrested regardless of the crime that you committed in front of the deputy.
Okay.
That's why I'm trying to just get down to exactly what your complaints are. If you want me to put down false arrest, you can, but that I tell you right now that you explained to me that it's not. So that part is not.
Well, I mean, I provided
I can already make
my
that
name
one.
and
That one.
my birthday, so I mean that's all that I legally have to provide. I mean the tag and registration, all of the information's right there. I mean,
I understand that.
Constitutional law, I don't have to provide my name and birthday. And if you fraud,
there is a state statute that says you have to provide a driver's license upon request when you are operating a motor vehicle. You have to have your driver's license in possession. That is a misdemeanor crime in the state of Kansas to not have your driver's license in possession. So like I said, at the very least, that's an arrestable offense. I don't know if that's what the deputies arrested you on at that moment.
So it really seems like I'm just going to call the elephant out in the room real quick, just all the way fully blunt. It felt like he was pulling me over on a pretextual stop, like he ran my tag, seen that, and then tried to make up a bullshit reason to pull me over. That's what it seemed like.
Well, even if it was, pretextual stops are legal. The Supreme Court has held that pretextual stops are illegal stops, and even if that's what he was.
But
like I said, I don't know if it was,
you
but
have to have
that's
a
legal.
infraction.
That's a legal thing.
Happened, right? That's where you're saying you have to fight that part in court. I get that. But so you guys are
if you disagree with the traffic infraction portion, that's why you have a court date set so that you can go in, present your evidence to argue the point of whether or not you committed the infraction that the deputy said that you did. So you said before that you went to court on your other ones and the judge threw them out, so you know that process.
Right.
But by refusing that the process occurs, that's where an additional crime was committed.
Okay. So
At the time of the traffic stop, you don't have the right to be able to refuse that.
So me showing and proving that I used my blinker and that he was either mistaken or wrong or lying or whatever, then that will take care of the rest of it for me, is what you're saying.
Yeah, unfortunately, under state statute, when a deputy conducts or a law enforcement officer conducts a traffic stop under reasonable suspicion that something has occurred, there are certain steps that the public is required to follow. And the remedy to that, if it's incorrect, is that you have a remedy in court. In the event that you felt like that you were wronged later on down the line, like if you felt like your rights were violated, you can also sue. That's where there's remedies later on. But to refuse at the time is not the remedy at the time of the traffic stop, unfortunately. So by doing that, that's what I'm saying. At the very least,
that's what made it all occur. I get what you're saying. It's
not a false arrest, or it's not a illegal arrest, because the way you chose at that moment to handle it gave them all that they needed to be able to arrest you.
Okay.
So that part I can say is not
legal, but the part of him actually pulling me over was not. I shouldn't have refused the ID part. I my name and stuff. But.
Yeah, hindsight's 20/20. I mean, to go along with it and be able to fight that in court and win in court. Now, granted, nobody really wants to have to go through that process, but that's the process that.
Man to man, you don't want to go through that. You would stand up like you're wrong and try to reason with them, wouldn't you? I mean, wouldn't that?
I would have tried, but I can't say that I would have gone to the lengths that you went. That you're expressing to me that you went to.
What lengths?
I would have provided my driver's license and went through it and received the citation, and then went to court and proved that I didn't commit the infractions that were alleged.
Yeah. And put it out there, I didn't even know I had those warrants. I thought my lawyers took care of that like 4 years the
Oh, yeah.
jail. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we arrest people all the time that aren't aware that they have them.
yeah, and that's how I found out I had the child support against me. I got pulled over the first time. That's why, the driver was suspended deal. That's how I found out the child support thing was put against me, because I got arrested, my license suspended. That's how I found out the license was suspended from child support. So, yeah. But, yeah, I was just, man, the way that it escalated, the way it was just ridiculous. So, I mean, I get what you're saying.
I will tell you that
I do get what you're saying.
Really,
the officer should be more
like
precise and know 1,000% sure that person did that infraction or that committed that crime before they go accusing people. That's what I think.
Well, that's not for me to say. I'm not here to judge what the deputy did at the time, whether because I obviously wasn't there.
Right. Right.
That's why that's why everything that he does is on video, and that's why we go to court and we sign affidavits stating that these things occurred. So that we understand that we have to go to court and we have to be responsible for our decisions and what we witness.
Yeah. I asked him that. I said, "Are you prepared to go to court on that?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay." And that's when I got out of the car.
So I mean, that's what it is. I mean, that's what the deputies are there to do. That's what that's their main job to do. So they understand that they every time that they do this, every citation they write or every person that they arrest, they could potentially go to court over that, or they will go to court over that if it's taken to that extent. So that's not a surprise to any deputy.
You know what? I applied to be with the state troopers and also with you guys.
They plead so many different cases before they go to trial, but other than that, yeah, it becomes a way of life. It's something that you get used to day to day.
Yeah. I don't know.
While we were talking, I've reviewed this video. While we were talking, I pulled it up.
Mm-hmm.
The deputy or the sergeant did review the deputy's video, and the video does show an infraction that occurred, or what he believed to be an infraction that occurred. So they were, from what I'm watching or watched on the video, that part did occur. I will still write down that you believe that the sergeant escalated it. So I'll have to watch it again, but from what I see, I'll be honest with you, I don't believe they escalated. I believe they gave you an exceptional amount of time to be able to comply with their requests. And I'll be honest, when I was on the streets, that is way more time than I would have given you before I would have acted. I would have given you a command. I would have given you the command. I would have given you another chance to be able to do it, and then I would have broke your window and taken you out of the car. I'll just be honest with you after watching this video.
You know what, though? Just all things aside, you wouldn't treat no man like that without that badge on. Because I promise you get different actions, different reactions.
I wouldn't treat it without the badge because that's what I would be conducting would be a lawful arrest at that point. So if I didn't have the badge on, no.
Lawful arrest and all that, but
I wouldn't be doing that to someone if I wasn't a law enforcement officer, because I wouldn't have the authority to be able to arrest someone for these infractions or for these violations, these misdemeanors.
I think if it's not a criminal you're dealing with, and it's not a person that is showing suspicious behaviors or acting like they could pull a weapon on the officer, I think any kind of force is used at all is just unnecessary. Period.
All right, but I mean that's where we'll agree to disagree. But after watching this, I believe they acted definitely within their authority, and
that's if the traffic stop was legal, right? I get that.
Well,
but I'm saying the traffic stop wasn't legal.
Even if the traffic stop wasn't okay, even if the traffic stop wasn't legal, they conducted a legal traffic stop for what the deputy believed to be the reasonable suspicion he had to stop you for a traffic infraction.
Okay, so that's
like I said, the recourse to that is that you would have received a citation, you would have given him all of your information, he would have given you a citation, you would have gone to court, and you would have won your case if you believe that you would have had enough evidence to prove that you didn't conduct that commit that traffic infraction. That would have been the legal recourse for that. But that's not the route you chose at that point.
So this brings me to
when you chose a different route, you have different things that occur. So
right.
Yes, you still may be able to win. You may be able to go to court and win the traffic infraction portion, but you still have to answer for the refusal to provide driver's license upon request, the marijuana that was located in your vehicle, the warrants that you had at the time of the traffic stop. So, I mean, all of those things are separate issues that have to be addressed as well.
Right.
And I'm not telling you that you're going to win your traffic infraction issue. I'm not giving you one answer or the other.
Right.
I can see on.
No, you ain't got to clarify to me, but I know what you're saying, man. So like that.
I'm just saying, I see on the depth thing why he would have,
right.
Why he said that you failed to signal within 100 feet going into the quick trip. So it does. There is evidence that appears to be on his video that would substantiate his reasonable suspicion to believe that infraction occurred.
Okay. Well, that's fine. But so it brings me to
my
last
question.
I'm
not a judge.
Right.
I'm not a judge. I'm not telling
I get you, man. I totally get you. So that leads me to my last question, and I'm done with this. But so like, if when that does come to occurrence, and I do prove the officer was lying, and that what would happen then? Like what goes from there? Like.
So what
as far as the officer
side?
No, I'm even trying to think like as far as like. Okay, the officer was proven wrong in court. Does that not never happen? Or like...
oh, no. The deputies, well, they're not necessarily proven wrong. We do lose cases on time to time, and for multitudes of reasons. And if the deputy lost a case or lost a citation because that it was proven that he didn't see it, hopefully they learn from that.
Wait a minute here. Let me get this straight. So, what's this guy's job again?
As well as their supervisors will be made aware that at the time of the so say if this was a traffic citation, just went to court for the traffic citation,
right.
If he would have showed up and the judge would have said, hey, I don't believe that there was probable cause to believe that you committed these infractions to be able to say that you are guilty of these things so that you have to pay the fine. And would have said that
there it is.
If he would have said 100% the deputy that this did not occur and this appears to be a blatant lie or whatever the judge says, at that point that would go to his supervisors and they would address him with those issues. But that's under those circumstances. What I'm seeing on video is that I see what the deputy.
And the great thing about video, it does provide a lot of criteria. Certain things that you can't really explain. From a first person being there, I get that. But all cameras have one thing in common, and that's angle. And every camera has a different angle and a different story to tell. So.
Yep. So, but that's what I'm saying in this case. I don't know if this would be one of those instances where the judge would say that the deputy was so out of bounds to say that he violated someone's rights or did something illegal, because from what I see what the deputy is trying to convey by the video. So I don't think that this one rises to that. But like I said, you may have a different angle that proves your case, but it's not one of those ones where it's not like this deputy 100% just straight up made up something that didn't occur. That's not what he did. So he
saying that I came off the side street and all that, it just made me question it is all. That's why I was.
That's a lie.
Okay.
That's cool, man. Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate your time and taking the time to talk with me.
Hey, no problem. Thank you, Christopher. Thanks for calling.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time.
All right. You be safe.
Have a better day.
Yeah. You too. Have a good
day.
So that was a conversation with a sergeant of the lieutenant that obviously said I didn't do anything wrong either, but he was like Elvis. He already left the building apparently, but You can see here on the email, PSU, Sedgwick County Sheriff Department. He never identified himself either. He just got my info. And there's the Quick Trip video they think I was playing.